My guest today is Hannah. Hannah is here to help you understand yourself in a way no personality test ever could. What is happening, beautiful people? This is the Empowered Human Podcast. This podcast is part of Empowered Human Tribe. Some journeys change your life. This is one of them. From the 15th to the 22nd of November, we are going to India. We're going to Varkala for Empowered Wellness Escape, designed for people who have been carrying a lot. To find out more, head over to empoweredhumantribe.co.uk. And big love to our sponsor, Life Lab Supplement. They produce high quality wellness supplements and help other brands build their own. Check them out at lifelabsupplement.com. Before we dive in, go ahead and subscribe, leave a rating, and share this podcast with someone you love. Now, take a deep breath. Open your mind and let's dive in. All right. Obviously, I reached out to you when, last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
Yeah. It was the same week that I found out about human design.
I love that you just went straight into that.
So literally, I went on Google, typed someone that knows about human design in Manchester. Your name came up. Obviously, I reached out to you to understand more about human design because I feel like lately I've been obsessed about finding out about myself a little bit better and trying to understand who I am, because I believe that there is more to us than what we know.
Yes.
There is more to learn. So hence why you're here today to talk about human design. So what is human design and how is it different from astrology and other self-awareness tools?
Yeah, so human design it's a synthesis of ancient and modern sciences. So that's what I like about human design, because it draws from many different pools of ancient wisdom, not just one. So
Yes.
That's what astrology is like. Whereas human design it's a combination, it's a blend of astrology, it's the I Ching, which is an ancient Chinese oracle system.
Yeah.
It's Kabbalah, which is the Judaic tree of life. It draws from some of that. And it also draws from quantum physics, quantum mechanics, genetics. It's like a whole mix of stuff in one. And what's quite interesting about that, I think there's a lot of threads of truth within the ancient systems, and it kind of just puts them all together. And also the Hindu Brahmin chakra system as well, which is the one that I missed. I knew I was missing something there.
Yeah.
But essentially human design is it's a system which it's a system which helps us to get to know ourselves better. So it's a system that kind of gives you an instruction manual for how you are uniquely designed to navigate life. And the theory of human design is that we're all super, super different. And that's for a reason and for a purpose. We're here to bring something to the world. And human design gives us the roadmap and the toolkit of exactly how to get there step by step. So it's a bit of a science of individuation. It's about knowing what makes us different, why that is, and then what we're here to bring to the world and what we're here to offer. And often what we see as our biggest flaws are actually just our greatest strengths, but maybe expressing in a slightly out of balance way. Yeah,
so. I love that. I think it might help people to understand it a little bit better if we do my readings. Obviously, I'm super excited about that. So you can take your phone out if you need to. I think it just helps to explain, different features, characteristics, different things to expect as part of your human design.
Definitely. So what I'm going to do with this, I think, is just keep it a little bit. I'm not going to go into the complexities because, human design is vastly complex, but also super simple. Yeah. Which is a kind of weird thing to say. But sorry, I'm just getting your chart.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
It's I'll get into it, but there's a lot to go into. So we have energy type, which is probably some of the most useful information. And with your energy type, you have your strategy. So that's your life strategy, how you're uniquely designed to exchange energy with the world around you. You have your authority, which is how you're uniquely designed to make decisions. And those two, the strategy and authority, are the most important things of your chart.
Got you.
So even though there is so much to dive into.
It's gifts and all that stuff.
Yeah, you've got the gifts, you've got the gates, you've got the environment, you've got your digestion, you've got your sixth sense, which is your cognition. There's just so many things. But actually at the highest level, it's really simple. It's just strategy and authority, strategy and authority.
Strategy and authority.
And the theory is that with strategy and authority, you just you'll live out the rest of your chart naturally anyway. So We'll keep it with like
Super
energy
simple,
type, with authority, and we'll also get a little bit into profile. And
Yes.
I'll give you a little bit of an overview of like what the energy flow in the chart, because there's something super interesting that I want to dive into you with. It stood
Okay.
out to me straight away,
Yeah.
which is always
Exciting.
always a good sign. Yeah. So we'll start with energy type.
Okay.
So for you, you're a manifesting generator.
Yes.
So energy type, as I mentioned before, it's all about like how you're uniquely designed to exchange energy with the world around you. So it's like your aura type, essentially.
Got you.
And it's your energy body, and how when you exchange energy with the world around you in a way that's right for you, that's when you find flow. And when you exchange energy with the world around you in a way that maybe you're conditioned to, or you think you should be doing, that's where you experience resistance, frustration. It can be where life is just not quite moving, even though you feel like it should be. So
Yes.
manifesting generators are ruled by the gut. They are sacral beings. So that's where you have a defined sacral center within your chart. And that is really where, like, that's, you generate life force energy and you give it to the rest of the world. So the best thing that any generator type can do, there's two types of generators, there's pure generators and manifesting generators. But the best type that any generator type can do is really pay attention to what lights them up, what do they desire? What is something that like kind of gives you that feeling of excitement? And when you do that, when you're in alignment with that, that's when you give energy to the rest of the world. That's when you create overspill.
Yeah.
And it's almost like that juicy, sparkly excitement. Like, you know, a generator when they're in their zone, because they're just so amazing to be around. They literally light up a room. And that's really what any generator type is here to do.
Yes.
So the strategy for a manifesting generator is to wait to respond. So it's all about, instead of you going out there initiating, like forcing things to happen, it's more about you kind of being your magnetic self. And because you've got an open, enveloping and magnetic aura, you draw things to you for you to respond to. Yeah. So waiting is like a huge thing for like us to learn as generator types.
Yeah.
I'm a pure generator, so I'm a little bit different to you, but it's all about kind of like waiting to respond to something that exists already, right?
Yes.
So manifestors, which are another type, they're a little bit more rare. They're like 9% of the population. They're here to like go out there and make it happen. Like, that's that just do it mindset of like, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to create the business, I'm going to like do it everything from scratch, I'm going to do it myself. And then they kind of bring people along for the ride. Mani-gens are a bit different in a way that they're waiting for things to come into their aura. And they're like, it's almost like the universe is your personal shopper.
Got you.
And it's like sending like, hey, do you like this thing? No, not so much. This thing, yeah, I really like that. Actually, I want to do that. And like, it's like you can kind of decipher what's right for you based on noticing what your energy responds to. Like, is there energy in this? Yes or no? Now, the gut speaks in black or white, yes or no language.
Yes.
So we have this sense with us, like this mechanism within us as generator types. Not all generators will have this as their authority, however you do, right? So your authority is how you're uniquely designed to make decisions and exchange energy with the world around you, right? So we wait to respond, and then we check in with our body, with the mechanism we have inside us, which is like, is this a yes for me or is this a no for me? So for you, it's really about noticing what excites you. Like, do you feel that feeling of expansion, which is a yes in your body? Do you feel like super excited? Like, you can tell a generator when they're engaged because they're literally like, tell me more. Tell me.
Yeah. I'm like,
exactly.
come on, keep going.
Exactly. Like, they're hungry for it.
Yeah.
You can see they're really engaged.
Yeah.
When generators are getting a no, they kind of like, the generator types are getting a no, they kind of like close down a little bit. So there's not energy in any, there's no excitement.
Yeah.
It's like the feeling of expansion or a feeling of contraction. So, you know, that can also happen in life. Like when you're kind of maybe exploring or going down a path that isn't quite right for you, you're going to feel quite drained, and it's going to feel a little bit like a slog, like you're dragging yourself through something. And that's a sign that you're not using your strategy and authority correctly. If there's no energy in something for you, if you're feeling drained, if you're feeling burnt out, if you're feeling like, I don't know, things just aren't quite flowing. So with human design, we have these wonderful like emotions with each type, which tell us like your signature, which is when you're on track.
Yeah.
And then we also have our not self theme, which is where we can, there are emotions that come to the surface when we're not following our strategy and authority correctly. And these are the best measures in life to help you understand, am I on track or am I going down a track that's not quite right for me?
Right.
And the theory with human design and the beauty of being a sacral authority is every decision you make in the moment is leading you on the path to your purpose. So that can literally be, do I want pizza or do I want salad for lunch? Or do I want to have a sandwich or do I want to go for a walk?
Yeah.
And the gut speaks in yes or no, black or white language, right? Black and white language. So it's like, yeah, that's right for me, or no, that's not. But with that sacral authority, literally every decision you make, maybe you choose the pizza, you feel a little stodgy, so you don't go out that evening. And then when you're at home, you hear a dog barking outside, you go out and you meet the love of your life.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's so cool.
It's like, you got a little fly on your head.
Little friend.
Yeah, that's amazing. So like every little decision you make, can lead to something bigger. But that's insane. All right, okay. Tell me more about like the other types of
like
human
the
design.
types.
Energy types.
Yeah, so like Mani-gens are a lot more like multifaceted. So for Mani-gens, it's a lot about being like lots of things. So I loved actually when I was looking at your Instagram after we spoke on the phone and you were like doing a retreat and like another business in like another country. I can't remember.
Yeah, in Bali.
I was just like, okay, that's a Mani-gen if I ever did see one. And I have another friend, she's like such a fucking boss.
Yeah.
She's a Mani-gen and she was doing like a pink sparkly burnout to bliss business, tarot readings, and then she was doing like pro dominatrix stuff. And I was just like, what? Like, and then she was child minding for a while. And I was just like, okay, this is like a real mix. But like, there's a lot of conditioning around Mani-gens. Like they're like feeling like they should stay on track.
Yes.
And they should be doing one thing and it's not right for them.
I felt that over the years. Like I felt like, I'm pushed to so many things, but I feel like as a society, you're told to like, you're meant to do one thing.
Yeah.
So I've been like really frustrated. I'm like, okay, I want to do this, but I can't because I need to make sure that I do this first. I need to like make sure that I just focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Then I realized that actually over the years, I just need to embrace all of me. Like I enjoy all sides and it makes me want to work harder.
Yeah.
Like in the past, I feel like, I was lazy because I would do one thing that after I get bored, I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. I just don't. But then now I'm like doing different things that I love. I wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, let's do this. So like for anyone listen to this out there, like you're not lazy. You just haven't found your spark. I feel like when you find it, you just want to get out and just get things done.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's me now. I'm like, I'm up 5 a.m. bedtime at 10 o'clock. Like I'm excited for the next day. Even like, I wake up like, super early, like 4:30 sometimes. I'm like, actually, no, let's go back to bed. Like, it's just too early.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited. Yeah.
That's generators, right?
Yeah.
So generators, when they're lit up, they can literally just go, and they don't always get tired. Now, that's not always completely true. There's so many nuances to that within the chart, but like generally that's an imbalanced generator, right? And the feeling at the end of the day, like that feeling of satisfaction, that's your signature, like, I spent this energy well. Like I feel satisfied with the day. That's the sign you're on track. When you feel like you're off track, you get the feeling of frustration. So it's like, I think energy isn't moving, right? And that's really what generators are trying to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mani-gen's much more multifaceted. Like when they get bored, move on. And the conditioning in our society will tell you that that's wrong and bad. But for you, it is right. Like it's so right because you'll pick what you need to pick up. You learn really fast as Mani-gens. So you pick up the skills you need. And then in 20 years, they're like, oh, remember when you learned horseback riding? Well, now I'm an actor and I can ride a horse. Fantastic. Right. And then you can bring those
so funny.
random things like will eventually, like they're all leading you step by step. And your boredom is your best friend. Because your boredom will tell you that it's time to move on. And you're just not supposed to judge
oh
the process.
my, that is like, I feel seen because literally like that's me right now. So I feel like, so I started Empowered Human Tribe as like a, like, what do you call it, a response to like me being, low and down and depressed. I started the affirmations at first last year. And then at the end of the year, I started Empowered Human Tribe. But now everything that I've learned, so I used to have a clothing brand back at uni. Obviously I taught myself how to use the camera in the first place to learn all this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Oh,
and then
you're like the poster boy.
yeah. Literally, obviously I went to uni, I did psychology, undergrad and masters, but never, like after uni I was like, okay, let's pick up filmmaking and YouTube. And then through that, I feel like with Empowered Human Tribe, I'm able to combine everything that I've picked up along the way to this brand.
Yeah.
Not like within this brand as well, I can do everything that I've learned. Like I can do the clothing if I wanted to do it. I'm doing the filmmaking right now on a podcast. I can share stories. So like, yeah, last year, like it was December, I was like, oh my God, this is making sense. Like everything that I've been doing all my life, it's brought me here. And then when I looked at human design 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh, this is insane, because like that's everything that I've been doing that I said. And I wish that I want everyone to know about this. Literally, everyone I spoke to them, like, go look up human design. This is incredible.
You've kind of done it backwards as well, which is really cool. Like, I feel like a lot of people, they find human design and then like it takes them, but I feel like you kind of have this down already a little bit. Like, obviously there's parts of
absolutely,
help you even more.
Yeah.
But it really sounds like you have a lot of it down, which is really interesting. So you already have trust in the system because you've seen it work so well.
Yeah.
But I guess for other people, it's sometimes about like taking the steps, building the trust.
Yes.
And then like seeing it in action. Because for other people, depending on what their conditioning is, they might have really just not listened to that part of them at all.
Yeah.
So they might not actually even relate to being a manifesting generator. And human design is called the human design experiment. So it's not dogma. It's not this is you and that's it. It's about, hey, have you thought about yourself in this way? Try it out, see how it feels. Like how does life respond? How do you respond?
Yeah.
So
So let me take you back to like
sorry,
energy
we
types.
really So so that's Manigens,
Yes.
multifaceted. Pure generators, they are here to be a lot more single focused. So they're all about dancing with life still. Universe is their personal shopper. They wait to respond. They wait for things to come into their aura and then they respond to like, is this a yes for me? Yes or no, right? They are, again, like the excitement, the expansion and contraction, all the same. However, they are a lot more single focused. So generators are like, they tend to specialize in something. They'll kind of be a bit more slow, steady and consistent. Whereas like, like generators would build all the basements and then they would build all the first floors and then they'll build all the second floors. Whereas Manigens will do basement, garden, garage, maybe a bit of fencing. So it's like, they are quite different.
Yes.
Like Manigens are, I feel like sometimes like slightly bigger, like in their energy. But they are really, really similar types as well. So Manigens are like a cross between a manifestor and a generator, and generators are like just the pure version of that. So again, same not self theme is frustration, and then their signature is satisfaction. And then we have, so like generator types overall make around 70% of the population.
Okay.
I was super disappointed when I heard this because I'm a generator and I really wanted to be special.
Yeah, unique. I wanted to be the 1%.
One of the rare ones, but honestly, being a generator is so fun. Like, and knowing that you bring that juicy life or sparkly energy wherever you go is really great.
Yeah.
But also just a bit of conditioning around generator types is they're often conditioned to believe that they are, like, because they bring a lot of energy, they can do stuff because they think that makes them a good person, or they think that they've been conditioned to believe that because they have energy that they need to show up and do things. So the best thing a generator type can do is say no when their sacral says no.
Yeah.
And we don't have to start saying no to going to dinner at your boyfriend's parents' house like every Friday straight away if that feels like too much of a jump. But like, it's just like, what's the 1% less you could do today? And then the 1% and the 1%, and just kind of like start to experiment and notice how life responds to you. Okay, so then we have manifestors. So manifestors are roughly 9% of the population. They're a little bit, like quite a bit more rare than generator types. And manifestors have a closed and repelling aura, which some people get a little bit upset about when they hear it.
No one wants to hear that.
They're super cool though. And the reason why they have a closed and repelling aura, it's not because they're like trying to get people to leave them alone. Well, kind of, but they're here to be super individualistic. Like they are here to just act on urges. They will just get an urge to want to do, and they're just supposed to do it. And they're not really supposed to be like influenced by outside sources, right? Whereas generators see something and are like, oh my God, that's so cool, I want to do that. Whereas manifestors are a lot more like, I just have this weird urge and I have to just act on it immediately, and it comes from within them. So they are really here to kind of be individualistic, to follow their urges and just act upon them. But manifestors are really here to start stuff, and they don't always necessarily have the energy to see things through.
Got you.
So their energy works in cycles. Manifestors are at 200% or 50%. Like, so, and again, that doesn't really lend itself super well to like 9 to 5. So manifestors can have a lot of conditioning around the fact that like, well, I'm inconsistent, there's something wrong with me, right? But it's not that. They are here to have a crazy amount of impact when they're on, and when they're off, they're just supposed to rest, play, process, like learn. So And that isn't to say that you can't have a 9 to 5 as a manifestor. Of course you can, but it's almost about just learning to work with those cycles. Go with energy when it's there.
Yeah.
Because I said, like, they're at 200% when they're on, they are
On,
and they are an absolute force to be reckoned with. But they're really here to like flick the dominoes and leave. So they're people who can start stuff and they can really see the potential in things, but they don't necessarily need to see it through. And that's why the generators respond to the thing that the manifestor initiates and are like, wow, I want to do that. And the generators have the energy to just keep going. So they're going to be the people who can kind of fill in the gaps for manifestors if they need that support. And not always. I do know manifestors that just work for themselves and like, but generally they work better because their energy is so big and so massive that people just like you can't not look at a manifestor in a way. So they start movements and people jump on board, and that's really what they're here to do. So their not self theme is anger, because they just want to be left alone, and they can really have a lot of conditioning around dulling their energy down, because manifestor children, they have big energy and they're not really here to be told what to do. So that can create a lot of negative conditioning in their lives of like, you know, like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I always bother people. So they can try and really play small. So they're really here to actually just be unapologetic in their bigness, essentially. So when they're feeling like dulled down by people, they can feel quite angry because they just want to be left alone. And their signature is peace. So it's that sense of like, oh, okay, like, you know, I'm just doing my thing. I'm in my flow. Adele is a great example of a manifestor. I don't know, like,
the singer. Okay.
Yeah, she is like, I don't know if you know her albums. I don't know her super well, but I think they're like 18, 23.
Yeah, numbers, I think.
So they're like the whole like 200% thing. Like when she's on, she's touring, she's done an album, she's there, and then she just disappears.
Yeah, that is very true.
Like, but that's such a great like example of a manifestor. It's like she's here to just kind of be on when she's on and then not when she's not, and that's a great way to kind of, and those cycles will run in like big scales, so over years, but also small. Like they can be like you're on for an hour of the day and then you're horizontal for the rest of the day, and like, but the amount a manifestor can achieve in a short space of time is massive. So
that's incredible.
They're really powerful people. My partner's a manifestor, actually. I do definitely see that in him, and he really does not want to be bothered.
Leave me alone.
But I guess like being a parent of a manifestor child, I think is really interesting.
Tell me about that.
Creating a safe environment for them to basically just be unapologetically themselves and also just act on impulse, while like allowing them to just do that while kind of trying to create a safe environment for them to be able to do that. Is like, I could imagine that being super challenging, but I also think is so empowering for that person to be, I guess, conditioned to actually listen to what their body is communicating to, what their energy is communicating to them.
I love that. And then we've got we've got manifestor, generators. What are the other ones?
So manifestors, generator type, 2 generator types, projectors, and then we have reflectors. So projectors are about 20% of the population. They have a directional and absorbing aura. So they take the world in around them super deeply, and then they kind of like see to the depths of people. My sister is a projector, and my other sister said to her, like, when you look at me, it feels like you're looking into my soul. And I was like, that's because she's a projector. But it is like that. Like they see really deeply. So projectors do very well one-on-one. And I think projectors often find human design the most helpful because they are really, they're like non-energy beings. They're kind of here to be like, they're not here to do all the time. Like they are way more efficient for like 2 to 3 hours a day. And they're more like directional. So they will kind of like, they have a bird's eye view of life. They can see like, oh, you could do that better and you could do that better. And they're much more about better at directing and like having an open door and allowing people to come to them because they see things so deeply. So like the projector generator relationship is so cool because generators kind of give projectors energy, and projectors can see what generators need to do to kind of like enjoy life even more. So they're kind of like the managing directors, like projectors. They're more like the project managers. Like they're here to be like, you I can see that you're going to be amazing at making the wheels, and you're going to be amazing at making the actual body of the car, and you're going to do really well at doing the steering wheel, and they can kind of see like where can we improve, where can we fine tune. But they're not here like generators to just go every minute of every day.
Yeah.
They are here to kind of engage and like share what they have to offer, and they can pick up of the energy of a generator, and it can seem like they're really good.
Yeah.
But they have to be careful because they can burn out pretty quickly. But it's kind of like they're like ADHD people in a way. Like I coach people with ADHD as another part of my work, and like what I see in them, like what they can achieve when they're in that hyper focus absolutely blows my mind.
Wow.
But projectors are really similar. Like what they can achieve, they're really efficient. That's the point. So what they can achieve in 2 to 3 hours, most normal people couldn't do in a day. So they are really, really efficient, and they're here to kind of like work in those like fits and starts. So like when they're on, and like they can use the people around them to give them energy.
Yeah.
But then they're here because they take in the world so deeply. The rest of the time they're absorbing, they're processing what they're taking in. But they're just like badass seers essentially. Like they just see stuff that nobody else does.
Damn.
Yeah.
I need to find one of them.
Yeah, honestly, they're a great mirror. They're a great mirror.
Yeah.
And then we have little reflectors, which are super rare. So they're only 1% of the population. And they are, yeah. And weirdly, I am a reflector magnet. Like I have a lot of reflectors in my life. And they're really fascinating, actually. So they're real chameleons. They are lunar beings. So they're ruled by the moon. The rest of the types are all ruled by the sun.
Yeah.
They have no definition in their chart whatsoever. So when you pull up your human design chart, you'll see like a person and then like loads of weird shapes.
Yeah.
So when they're colored in, it means you have definition there. That means you're fixed and you have a buffer to the rest of the world. Reflectors have no centers defined. They're all white.
Wow.
So sometimes people are like, is my chart broken? Like,
am I okay?
Yeah. But no, you're fine. You're just a very rare little unicorn, and we love you a lot. Yeah. So reflectors are, because wherever we have open centers in human design, we mirror back. So we mirror back to people and we amplify. So say if you have a defined G center in human design, I have an open G center, and that is our identity. So you have a fixed identity and I don't. So for me, I'm more of a chameleon. I will morph and change depending on the people, the crowd that I'm with. Whereas for you, that's not right for you. You're supposed to be really, really sure of who you are, and you're supposed to show up exactly who you are. And you're not supposed to morph and change that depending on who you're with. So like when I'm with you, I'll probably mirror your identity and kind of amplify it even more. So, but reflectors are like that in every single center. So they are incredible mirrors. Like having a reflector in front of you, they can, because they're sampling your energy and then they mirror it back to you, they can see you in a way, again, that not many other people can. So reflectors are really like, traditionally in tribal times, reflectors would have been at the center of a community, and they would have been reflecting back the health of that community based on the well-being of a reflector. So for reflectors, it's all about their environment. Like when they feel good in an environment, it's like right place, right time for reflectors. Like they are supposed to be there, and they will feel good, and their well-being will be good. When they're in a place where they're not supposed to be, their energy will feel pretty off. It won't feel right. They could get sick. They could feel burnt out. Like they could just not feel good. And that's a sign that they need to move. That's a sign that they need to put themselves in environments where they feel like more at home, where they feel where they feel in a good way, essentially. So their signature for reflectors is surprise and delight. So because they're chameleons, they're just here to be painted on by the canvas of life every single day. So some days they'll want to be a fireman, some days they'll want to be a princess, like it doesn't matter. It's like whatever like their environment is mirroring to them, whatever feels good, whatever person they feel like they want to bring to that day is like, if whatever's feeling good to them, they're just supposed to do it. And they're here to be surprised and delighted by life. It's not expectation for them, but it's just being open and seeing what feels good, and every single day will be different for them.
I love that. It sounds like as a reflector, you need to choose your environment carefully.
Yes. Yeah. And the people as well.
And
like
the people, you're right.
Definitely. So like if something's feeling off, if something's feeling icky, then like that's a sign to move. And reflectors have they're a lot slower in the way that they process stuff, because they, like generators would respond in the moment. Reflectors, their strategy is to wait a lunar cycle. So they are here to, because they're so open, they're really influenced by all of the energy in the world around them, right? It's not just people. It's like the energy of the moon. It can be the energy of a place. It can be anything like that. So the only consistent measure that a reflector would have is the cycle of a moon, because, you've got a full moon, which is super energizing. You've got a new moon, which is really like quiet and inward. You've got a First quarter moon is
I need to know about that as well, because
I love the moon. We talk about the moon for days.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about the moon. Why not? Human design, but let's talk about the moon because I want to know.
That's the most Manny Gen thing ever. Scrap all that. But yeah, so that like their mood changes based on like different energies essentially. So for them, like when they're making a decision, it's really helpful for them to wait as long as they can to experience the decision from all the different lenses of life before they then get clarity. So it's a lot more of a slower process for a reflector.
Yeah.
And just circling back, sorry, to projectors because I missed it, that not self-theme is bitterness. It's like that feeling of not being heard because their strategy is to wait for the invitation. So because their energy is so penetrating and strong, it can feel a little bit intense when like it's not invited. Like that person, they see things so clearly, but people aren't always ready to receive the wisdom that they have to share. So for projectors, it's all about waiting for that opening, waiting for that person to ask them what they see, for them to then have the flow of like what they're sharing to have impact.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if there's not an invitation for a projector, it's almost like throwing a tennis ball at the wall and having it smack you back in the face. Yeah. Because it's just like it's just going to fall on deaf ears.
So like how do you make yourself invitable?
So it's about seeing yourself. It's about self-recognition, and it's about being seen to just do your thing.
Yeah.
So generally projectors will specialize in something. There's usually something that they're just obsessed with that they can't stop thinking about or they're really fascinated by.
Yeah.
And that for a projector is just like do more of that and be seen for doing it. Because if you give yourself recognition and you show the world what you have to offer, then that's when they're going to invite you.
Yeah, that's so true. Because the person that actually got me on human design, she's called Rosie. She's a projector, I think. And like she was saying, like she's like, we were at a party together, my friend's party, and like didn't really speak to each other. But like as she was leaving, for some reason I was like, oh, let me just say hello. Then the hello turned into like almost like an hour conversation.
Oh,
and then like you then like invited her into the space to check it out. And then she was talking about what she does. Obviously, I've seen what she does online, but we didn't really follow each other. But then, from then, I was able to understand like what she does. Like we're talking about like cycle syncing and all of that. It's so niche as well.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, so now we're like creating content together and hopefully gonna do a workshop together about cycle syncing. But she was saying how it's so funny because like I invited her into the space and now what?
Yeah, and that's the thing. When they have the invitation, the wisdom that they share is like out of this world.
Insane. Yeah. She's almost like
My sister, she really struggled with that as well because I think for her like. There's always a story, not always actually, there's often a story and conditioning with projectors of like, nobody sees me, nobody understands me, no one has like places any value in what I have to say.
Yeah.
And that's often when they're a little bit out of balance or they're trying to solicit. It's essentially like projectors don't solicit.
Yes.
So it's like, we're not like sharing advice and saying, I think this, I see this, but it's again, waiting for that opening.
Yeah.
And that's when your words just have so much impact. And that's really hard. Like, but again, like, because it's all the conditioning in the world will tell you that that's not right? Like generally, because our conditioning is so blanket in our society.
Yeah.
So, waiting and just curating your talent is the best thing you can do for a projector and just make yourself seen in some way. And the invitations will roll in. Then you use your authority to determine which invitations are for you and which aren't as well. Because also important.
Of course. Yeah. I was going to ask you as well about myself because obviously like I'm meant to respond to something.
Yeah.
How do you know what to respond to, and how do you qualify which obviously your gut tells you okay?
Yeah, so you do as a generator type, you always have the gut, but the authority has the final say. So for you, yours
is okay.
Yeah. So for you, yours is quite simple because your authority is your gut. However, some generators, they will have an emotional authority and the emotional authority overrides the gut.
My partner she's a manager, but her authority is different. Yeah, she's
living with a partner with her emotional authority is something else.
Yeah, is it?
Tell you. Yeah. So especially because how I mentioned like where you have an open center, that's where you have no definition. So you have an open emotional center and your partner will have it defined.
Yeah.
So you will pick up on their emotions times 10. So
yeah.
So like, and this is what when I found out about human design, my relationship got 50,000 times better because I was like, oh, okay.
I get it.
Yeah. So for you, in the moment when something comes to you, when you wait to respond and you see something, you're like, oh my God, I'm so excited about this. just do it. Do it. Don't need to think, just act, right?
Yeah.
And that's what human design is all about. We never make decisions from the mind in human design, ever.
Wow.
It all comes from this wonderful mechanism that you have inside of you, which is your authority, right?
Yeah.
So for you, it's sacral. For people who have emotional authority, it's about riding the emotional wave, so they never have clarity in the now. They need to kind of see the decision through every emotional lens until they reach a neutral point, and that's when they have clarity. So for them, if they said yes in the moment, that might be on a high and everything's amazing, like, oh my God, I'm so excited. So the sacral might respond, but they're in a high and they're like, oh my God, life is just so good. And then suddenly they're in a low and they're like, oh my God, why did I say yes to that? I really didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So it's that whole thing, like they need to ride it out, and when they're cool, calm and collected, that's when they're in a place to make a decision. Same with like if they're in a low and something comes to them, like even though their sacral might respond, they are in a low and they're not excited about that thing. They're just like, they're seeing life through shit colored glasses essentially, and they're going to say no, but actually it was right for them when they reach that cool, calm and collected state. So it's all about creating space and riding the emotional wave until you reach that neutral point. But yeah, like picking up on those moods is
it's super interesting. Also, I was going to ask you about how can like someone that's listening to this right now get started and find out who they are.
Yeah, so we have some human design software on our website. You can pop over to our website. It's at handpicklife.com, and you can get a free birth chart there.
Yeah.
It's quite nice because it gives you a little report so you can have a little look, or there's loads of resources out there. So just go and pull your chart from somewhere.
Yeah.
And again, look at your energy type, learn about your energy type, learn about your strategy, and learn about your authority.
Yeah.
Because even though, like I said before, dig into the chart, get into the gifts, get into the channels, get into all of that, get into your your life purpose.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you live out your strategy and authority, you will get there naturally.
Yeah.
So it's all about creating that relationship with life and with yourself. And you could do that through your strategy and authority. That will really guide you every step of the way to where you're meant to be.
Yeah. I feel like I said earlier, I feel seen, I feel like understood, and everything is beginning to make sense. And I hope that everyone will be able to have the same feeling and just get a bit more clarity and hopefully live in more alignment with their human design. Also, I was going to ask you, when it comes to like relationships and stuff, how does that work? Like, let's say, for example, you're single. Like, should you be asking the girl, like, so what's your human design?
That's a great question. Like, do you know what I would say? So I actually, so in my work, I have, I do like human design and I do coaching, and then I do some freelance work with ADHD clients, and like human design doesn't come into that. It's a very different clientele. So in that work, I still allow it to inform how I speak to clients, even though I don't know their chart, right? So, I mean, you can have a look at people's human design. It's incredibly helpful. But if you don't even know their birth time, I think you can pay attention to the themes that come up, and the not self themes are great. So like there's this one client where bitterness is just so strong for him. And I know it's because he's not feeling recognized as a projector. Helping him to feel seen and helping him to recognize the gifts he have in himself, that is really helpful for creating like peace for him, for creating success for him. So again, like you don't need to necessarily know, or like that person doesn't need to know their human design for you to then kind of create an environment for them to do really well, and for you to create flow between you both. So my partner does not care about human design at all. And he is an emotional manifester. So he's supposed to get urges, and then he's just supposed to ride the emotional wave and then just go for it, right? And I know that he'll be on when he's on, and when he's off, leave him alone. Like let him play, let him do his thing, because he'll get there eventually. So that's created a lot of harmony in our relationship. But like I can create an environment. So have you got an urge to do that? That's cool. Like maybe we'll sit with that for a while, but if you still have the urge tomorrow, let's just do it. And also allowing him to initiate sometimes just conversations as well. Like, you know, when that opening is there, then I can respond to him, you know? So like, because I'm a generator. So, you know, it's so helpful in relationships. Human design was actually created initially for parents to parent their children. Do you have kids?
Yeah, I've got a little girl,
Look at her human design. Honestly, it's so empowering, because we all have so much conditioning to say that we're wrong or we're bad, or there's something that we're doing that isn't quite fitting the norm of society. And when you can create that environment for a child, they don't even need to take on all that conditioning, because they already trust themselves. So like that's what human design was all about, is like getting them to listen to their internal voice to tell them what's right for them. Like, you know, for like a generator child, like ask your tummy, do you want tomato soup for lunch or do you want a sandwich? Like, and they can kind of really start to learn to trust that, and it's already innate in them, which is like half the work.
So if you're a parent listening to this right now, go check up your kids' human design.
Understanding them as well, because it's like sometimes a manifestor child is so big, you're just like, you're trying to make them be quiet because you want them to fit in, but they're not supposed to fit in. They're supposed to stick out their edges and be really different, and that's the point. So if you can create that environment for them, then that's how they're really going to
It's
thrive.
so funny you say that, because as a kid I was sent to boarding school back in Nigeria, because I grew up in Nigeria. My parents, like from what I gathered, they were saying like you were just so like energetic, you was like here, there and everywhere. They were like even when sent to boarding school, like, you know, that would make him a bit more, but obviously here I am.
Well, that's what it is. I think I love it so much. That's why I love human design and astrology, because it, like a lot of the work that I do is like with neurodiverse people. And don't get me wrong, like it's so helpful to have a diagnosis, because they finally, again, it's like validating, they understand like why they've struggled in the past. But human design and astrology kind of gives you language to explain those things without them being symptoms to be managed. So instead of you looking at these things like, oh, this is what's wrong with me and I need to change this, it's like, oh, I'm like this for a reason, and this is it out of balance, and this is how I get it in balance, and this is how it serves me. So we can start to see things not as that we're broken, and start to see things as like super empowering, and that's like really fun to play and like roll around in the mud that is life, right? And you can just experiment and explore and like stop judging yourself, essentially.
I love that. Well, I was going to ask you as well, like how important do you think it is to continue on the path of growth and just discovering more about yourself and learning more about yourself? How important do you think that is for every single person?
I just think it's incredibly important. Like I have worked with like over 100 people in my coaching practice, and the thing that I see with people when they're active in the process of just paying attention to life and just taking small steps every day to like fine tuning, tweaking, changing, the transformation I see in people is just like literally the most inspiring thing in the world. Like, so even if like just living life with consciousness, I think is really the key to it all. And like, that's what all of these systems bring, right? A human design, astrology, Myers-Briggs, yoga, even because it's mindful movement. It's that mind-body connection. You're bringing conscious awareness to how you're moving. With the ADHD coaching, that container for reflection every day of like, what did you do yesterday? What are you going to do differently today? That's it. It's super simple, but all of it builds consciousness, and it helps you to show up to life with intentionality.
Absolutely.
And that's what I see create change time and time again. I
love that. Yeah, because I do feel like for some reason as humans, we get to a point when we're just like, oh, okay, my growing's done here. And we'll just go into like the pilot mode, and it's just like, why do you think that is?
Well, partially, I actually do see it as cyclical, because there's cycles within cycles within cycles of life. Like we have seasons of the year. Like in the spring, we're much more action oriented. In the autumn, it's all about letting go. The winter, we create space. Then we have the moon cycles. So we've got like, again, like the same cycle, but within the cycle of the moon in the month, right? Then we also have life cycles. Like sometimes, and actually as a line 6 profile in human design for you, your first 30 years of life are all about trying, experimenting, exploring. And then you go up on the roof. And that phase of life, when you turn around 30, it's right when your Saturn return is happening. You kind of, and I'm a line 6 too, by the way, we have the same profile. You kind of withdraw and you become a little bit more, it's more about the integration of the wisdom that you've learned from the mess of life of the first 30 years. So, I there's an element of growth is important. I think actively holding space for consciousness is important. Knowing when it's time to grow, when it's time to, look back, uncover the beliefs, do the reconditioning work, whatever, when it's actually time just to take the action and move forward and forget about that stuff and show to yourself through building that relationship with life that unpicks that conditioning anyway. Like everything is cyclical and seasonal. And I do think there are phases of life where we don't need to grow, and actually being present and just being grounded and conscious is enough. So I think it's intuitive. And I think that the more you kind of connect with your human design and create that relationship with your mechanism inside of you, which says what's right for you, you will know. You would
know naturally that it's time. And so thinking about that, let's say, for example, you're in a group of people, in an environment when you feel like you want to grow, but the other people around you aren't really on the same wavelength. Like, what do you do? Like, what advice would you give to anyone that feels like, actually, I can feel it coming, but I'm still held back?
I think it's you. It's that whole thing, like, you can't change other people, but you can change yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes you outgrow people, and of course you do, and that's part of life. Like, and maybe you do need to remove yourself from those situations. However, what I have found most impactful in life, if I try and tell people stuff, it's just like they're not ready, right?
Yeah.
You have to trust other people's journeys. And just because they don't take a spiritual path doesn't mean that they're still not going to build consciousness a different way, right? So,
Got you.
you know, not everybody needs to learn human design. It's not
Yeah,
meant for
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
Just like it's not meant for everybody to, you know, like, I don't know, follow the Muslim religion.
Yeah,
for example.
yeah.
Like, you know, we all have our own
Different ways.
pathways.
Yeah.
Trust the process, but it's in your becoming and in your self-empowerment, and you can like be seen and just be really open about what you're doing. And when people are ready, they will come to you and they will ask the questions.
Yeah.
And it's surprising how many people are listening, even if they don't respond. That's what I always find.
Yeah.
It's like every now and then someone will come up to me and say, oh yeah, like, you know, that thing that you said to me 7 years ago. And I'm like, you literally did not think you cared about anything like that. That's bizarre. So it's like, I think
people are
it's
listening.
and trust in people as well. Like, everybody has their own path, and you don't need to control that. All you can do is control like your own self-empowerment. But that also does mean that if you are in an environment that isn't good for you, then it might then be time to remove yourself or back off a little bit. And your authority in human design will tell you exactly when to do that. So it's super useful.
I love that. How can everyone live in alignment? Like, generally,
live in alignment.
Yeah. Like, how like, if you feel like, okay, something needs to change, how do you start?
Witnessing. I think you don't even need to, if you're not ready, to just make the change anyway. I think if you just build the consciousness and you're aware, that's 90% of the work.
Wow. Yeah.
So, you know, maybe you're in a relationship and you know you need to leave, for example, but you're just too scared, or there's just too much conditioning around it. It's okay to have made the decision, but you can just still sit with that for a while and just witness it. Like, you don't have to take the action. You can even just ask the universe, like, look, I'm too scared. I know that this is not right for me anymore, but help me. I don't feel ready to make this change. If you feel like you need the guidance, but also, again, strategy and authority in human design will guide you every step of the way. But that doesn't mean that if you don't have trust in the process that you need to radically act on it. Everything is about timing, and consciousness is the most powerful thing you can have ever.
Absolutely.
So I think it's just sitting and just being aware and trusting that when you're ready, you will make the change.
I read the book recently, and it was saying about how humans, we need to be able to not separate ourselves, but be able to be consciously aware of like our mind. So that way we're able to like, okay, my mind is doing this, but it's not me.
Yeah.
And I feel like the moment you have that switch in my head, like I can hear my mind having a chat with I'm like, oh, it's doing it again.
Yeah.
How important is that for, you know, to have that?
I think, like, incredibly important, and almost like, and it's finding your way with it as well.
Yeah.
Like, so some people meditation, because you're becoming the witness and you practice that. So it's a muscle that you're building every day, right? For some people, like a couple of my clients, we do like where we'll like name the person and make it a character, and that removes you from that.
Yeah.
So it enables you to kind of see it from a perspective. In human design, we call that the voice of the mind. So the mind is never, ever, ever here to run the show. That's the job of the authority. So dropping into the body and really trusting that mechanism within inside of you, whatever it is that it is for you, depending on your design, that can give you the trust and the clarity, and it removes you from that, because you know that that's where you've got that unwavering sense of trust. But that's, again, a relationship that you need to develop.
Yeah.
But again, like, it all starts with the conscious awareness of like noticing. And the more you kind of study your human design, or even just get to know yourself by journaling, like, it doesn't have to be human design, but the more you do that, the more clarity you get, the more conscious awareness you get. They always say, if you reflect every month, you have better months. If you reflect every week, you have better weeks. And if you reflect every day, you have
reflection is very important.
Like, absolutely.
If you can, daily.
Yeah. That's what I do with my ADHD clients. We speak every day.
Yeah.
And the difference you see in people literally just from having that container for reflection is everything. The same with human design. Like, if you stay on track with it, if you pick an area of your design, like maybe you'll play with your strategy, maybe you'll play with your strongest gift, maybe you'll play with your environment for a week or something like that. But if you reflect every day, it's the consciousness and the awareness around that thing that enables you to embed it and it to become an inherent part of who you are. So we're not consciously trying to round it in every now and then and forgetting and then going off track and that whole
I love that. And for someone that's gotten the reading and they want to know more, can they like reach out to you, for example?
Oh my
God,
yeah. Please do.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing to talk about in the world. So you can get your birth chart on our website. If you want to book a reading with me, please do. You can reach out to me on Instagram. I love it when people ask me questions. Like, literally, my favorite
ask
thing.
Me,
please ask me questions.
Like, what other things do you do as well? Because obviously I see you do like the weekly astrology. Yeah.
So I do weekly updates on my Instagram. I also have a business in partnership with my auntie called A Handpicked Life. So that's somatic coaching. So that is, I do use human design to inform it. So it's a membership that we have online. So we do group coaching calls. We do like monthly full moon calls. We do like with like different workshops, and then we get like the space to be able to be together in a group. And if I've done a reading for you, then we can use like me to kind of guide you based on your chart if I already know it already. So it's a really nice space.
I feel like for me personally, I would love to understand my design a lot better, because I feel like obviously I want to go deeper into it, even though I know roughly what my energy types is and all that. I still want to go deeper into almost like design my life in a way. Give me a map.
And that's what's super interesting about your chart we didn't get into. Like your main gate is the gate of opinions. Your main gift is the gate of opinions. So that's like it's a gate that sits in the mind, and it's all about like you kind of formulating your view on life. So like someone asking you like, what is it that you see? Like that is a really helpful thing. So it's about you kind of sharing the way that you uniquely see the world, and also knowing that is open to change. Now, that doesn't flow to the throat, which is super interesting to me. And this isn't like textbook human design, but I'm quite intuitive in the way that I read for people. And what that kind of says to me, and I wouldn't take this as textbook, but I would play, because essentially with human design, what we look at, and I don't know if this is helpful for your viewers, but we have like channels that connect each of the energy centers in the chart. So you have the gate of opinions, but it doesn't flow to the throat. So what that says to me is, you're here to act on your opinions and become the embodiment of the unique way that you see life. But maybe it's not for you to be sharing your opinions verbally. Right? So all of your energy in your chart is in your body, and the identity center flows to the throat, right? So for you, that's more about sharing who you are from a really pure place. So it's more about you having a sense of identity, of you sharing from the soul. So it's less about all the, like you speaking this logical stuff, even though it can inform what you do. You're not necessarily potentially here to speak it. So I would really experiment with that and see, when I share my opinions, say on social media, how does that perform? And how does it perform when I'm sharing from a really pure place, when I'm sharing from a creative place, and see how that is.
Fair. I never really share my opinion as such on social media. I think everything that I create, I'm not sure if you see my content, they're just like...
I've looked a little bit at it. So it sounds like, but that's really cool, isn't it? Because you've already kind of figured that out. I feel like you do seem like someone who's kind of already... It's weird, like sometimes it's often when you read for people in later life, when they're like 40s, 50s, they kind of have the chart down backwards without knowing it. But from reading for you, you kind of feel like you're in that phase. I feel like you seem to have picked it up.
Yes, like I don't know how, but just experimenting, and I feel like last year was the biggest change, because I turned 31 this year, but I feel like December last year was when I started Empowered Human Tribe, and that was the biggest shift in everything. So I feel like everything just feels like it aligned. So like when I found out about human design 2 weeks ago, I was like, that's why I was like, I was buzzing, because I was like, everything that I've seen made sense, but I didn't really understand the actual body chart. So you telling me that actually like helps me deep in that understanding. So I managed to come back to you to actually break down every single part of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's so complicated, but again, like you don't, especially for people as an introduction, you also don't want to overcomplicate it, because it's really simple. So it's like, don't get lost in the weeds. Just actually do it, because it's in the application. Like knowledge without application isn't wisdom.
Of course.
So it's like, do the doing.
Do it,
That is what's going to change your life. And also learn all the other stuff, because it's super fun. But like, you know, like it's the strategy and authority that's going to really make
but obviously like even that little detail that you just keep giving me, I was like, that makes sense, because I don't really share my opinion as such and like as a content.
But it's like reaffirming, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like something you already know, but it's like, oh, okay. And even that, you can consciously maybe lean into that even more.
Exactly.
And like, how can I share from an even more pure place, for example? And there's like so much in your chart about that, but obviously I just...
let's do two more.
Okay. So what else can we talk about?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we didn't really get into profile, and I think profile is quite helpful.
Go on. Tell me about profile.
Profile is like your personality.
Yes.
So your energy type is like your aura, so it's your energy body, and it's the mechanics of how it works, right? Your profile is more personality based. So you're a 4-6 profile, and there'll be like for other people, other like profiles are just a different combination of two numbers. So the first number is conscious, and then the second number is unconscious. So it's like how you see yourself consciously, and then how other people see you.
Gotcha.
So 4-6s are quite interesting. So I have this profile as well.
Yeah.
And the 4 is all about your network, and like you're a conscious networker. So the quality of your life is reflected in the quality of your relationships. Essentially.
Yeah.
So, and for line 4s, all of their opportunities come with it from their network. So I am such a living example of this. Every opportunity I've ever had pretty much has come through someone that I know, not from like just random places. So like every job opportunity anyway, like I've always been like invited by someone like a friend of a friend or a friend of a friend of a friend. But it's all about, even though they're called the networkers, line 4s, it's not about random people. It's about like, there's a sense of familiarity.
Gotcha.
So it's more about you having that connection with other people and like connecting through the actual existing network. Line 5s are a lot more impersonal. 4s are really personal. And then the 6 is unconscious. So you're the role model. So again, like they have the 3 life phases of the line 6. So it's all about being on the ground, exploring and like experimenting. And then in the second phase of life, and after your Saturn return, you then you kind of withdraw, and it's about the integration. It's almost like the maiden, the mother, the crone. And then after your second Saturn return, you then come back down off the roof, and then it's all about sharing the integration of the wisdom that you have. So we have really different phases of life. And it's all about you becoming a role model and like becoming the embodiment of wisdom, essentially. So learned wisdom from like
from lived experience.
Exactly. So like, for example, for you, social media strategy wise, like your existing network is your best resource, right? Whereas line 2s, they're a lot more withdrawn, and it's a bit more, or like a 3-5, for example, like they're just here to share like their journey, and then people just like love 3-5s because they're like super magnetic and their life is kind of a roller coaster and they're super into it. But for 4s, it's all about like familiarity. It's about creating like a really close and personal relationship with the people in your network. And generally like the business opportunities that you'll get will come through people that you know. So it's like email marketing with like a really nurtured community is so much more powerful for a 4-6 than maybe like a 3-5 or a 6-2 or whatever. So there's just,
I love that how it also inform you when it comes to like, I don't know, content creation. So I'm coming back to you for that one, because I need to write me a strategy for everything.
You literally can, like that's what I love about it. It's crazy, like, and even right to the thing of like your environment. So your environment is mountains, active mountains. So for you being high up, so it's interesting that the studio is like literally that. So like you being elevated in some way, like, and the environment is very metaphorical. So mine is markets, but it's more about like you having like height because it gives you perspective, right? But for me, markets is more about like lots of people having lots of exchanges, and mine's passive. So it's not about me having lots of exchanges with people, but it's about being an environment. So co-working spaces are great for me. Like I have a gym with a co-working space, which is amazing. Or like working in a cafe for someone with that energy, like with that mountains environment. The markets environment is great. But for you, like mountains, like there's almost this like elevation, and maybe even like needing to be alone to process could also be a part of that. But again, there's so many nuances within the chart, so none of this is like you kind of need a reading to weave it all together. That's really where, so you can start to understand the separate parts, but then it's weaving the story based on all the separate elements, and there's a lot of them. So that's
my mind is blown. Like I could be here all day.
I know. I'm not joking when I say to unpack a whole person's chart, it takes like 20 hours. There's so much.
That's incredible. Right, where can people find you? Like your website, your emails, your social, like what are you on social media?
So I'm at handpicklife.com. So that's where I do all of my somatic coaching work. And I also, you can book a reading on Handpick Life's website with me. On Instagram, I'm at Astro and HD with Hannah. I think. Let me check that. Put that in the description. Let me check.
Who am I?
So I do like weekly astrology updates, and I'm also going to be doing a free like learn how to read your birth type for a chart for astrology and human design in there as well.
I reckon as well, I would love to have you for like to do a workshop where we can invite people over.
Yeah, like a hot seat.
Yeah. That would be cool.
It's so helpful to see, like, hear other people's charts in action, because that's when you can see where you're different, and it also helps you in relationships when you know. So it's super good to like pull your chart, pull your boyfriend's chart, pull your sister's chart.
Like, of course, and
that will just really help you to start to see how you can relate to other people. It's so helpful in relationships.
Yeah, it's definitely happening. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
This was so fun.
What would be the key takeaway that you want people to take away from this? Key message you want people to take away from this episode?
Strategy and authority.
Strategy and authority.
I cannot say it enough. Like, that is how you're uniquely designed to move through the world, and how you're uniquely designed to make decisions. Just do it. Just do it, live it, play with it, reflect on it every day.
Yes.
It will change your life.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sarat.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And that's it for today's episode. If something resonated with you, please do one thing. Share it. Send it to a friend, post it on your story, or just talk about it with someone you trust. These conversations matter. And please, don't forget to subscribe, rate the show, and download each episode. It helps more people find this space and join our movement. And if you're ready to go deeper, join us at empoweredhumantribe.co.uk and on our socials at Empowered Human Tribe. I'm your host, Adeshina Adeshokon. You are not alone, you are not too late, and you are more powerful than you've ever been told. This is Empowered Human Podcast. Keep on shining. I will see you next time, my friend.